Hey everyone, welcome back to MLOps. In this video, we'll be continuing with our series on machine learning operations with Apache Airflow. So this is part 6 of the video series where we'll be focusing on model monitoring. So in the last 4 videos, we have discussed about various components of machine learning pipeline, which includes data ingestion, model training, and model monitoring. And we also focused on hyperparameter tuning with Optuna. Now, as part of this video, we'll be focusing on model monitoring, where we'll be discussing about drift detection with KS test, PSI, and we'll also perform auto retraining if there is a drift detected. So what we'll do is we have our data set on which we have trained our model, and we have data set which is coming from production. So we'll be comparing these two data sets and understand if there is a drift or not. If there is a drift, then we'll be performing the retraining of the model. So we'll be seeing this as part of our script. So let us jump into the script now. So let me go to the tutorial 6 here under advanced section, tutorial 6. So the concepts that we'll be covering as part of this video includes data drift detection, followed by we have model performance monitoring over time, and we'll also write drift reports as HTML artifacts. And finally, we have conditional retraining of our model based on the drift detection score. To run the script, we have to run the specific command. So with this, let us get into the core implementation. So first we have to import all the necessary modules. So first we import Python modules, and then comes our pandas and numpy for managing the data set and creating the data set for production. And then we have joblib for dumping the model and loading the model. And finally, we have Airflow based modules where we'll be using DAG for creating DAG task for transforming our Python function into a DAG task. And then we have this operator for running a DAG inside a DAG. Then we have branch Python operator for executing a Python function, and which will be acting as a conditional statement inside our DAG. And then we have our empty operator, which basically does nothing during the execution. It serves as a functional placeholder. So this is the definition for all three operators that we have imported here. Now we can start off with our logger first, through which we'll be logging the information during the execution. So once you have created your logging.get logger, we can start with our configuration. So here we mention all the directories that we want to work with. So this is our root directory, inside which we have processed folder where we have our processed data set which was used for training. And then we have our models, which contains the best model after hyperparameter tuning. And then we have drift reports, where we'll be storing the reports after performing the drift detection. And these are various columns on which we want to perform the drift detection. And this is the drift threshold that we are setting, which is 0.15. If our drift is more than 0.15, then we call that the drift is significant and we want to retrain the model. And these are the default arguments for our DAG. So this is like owner is set as MLOps learner. We want to retry the DAG if it is failing for one time. And then we want to set the retry delay as 5 minutes. So this will be applied across all the tasks that we are creating as part of our DAG. Now coming to the task, so the first task is to generate the production data, and this is a task for our DAG whose task ID is generate production data. So here first we create the folder, and once we have created the folder, then we have to set our number of data points that we want to create. So this is a random generator here we have, and n is the number of samples that we want to create. And here we have df underscore prod, which is a data frame containing a bunch of features. So these features are nothing but the features that we have in our training data set. So here we create our production data set with the help of our RNG here, which is the random number generator. And once we have created this data set, then we have to store it as production data.parquet file, and we'll be storing it here in this specific location. And once that is done, then we return the path where we have stored our production data. And in the next task, we compute the drift report. So here we create a task for our DAG with the name compute drift report, which takes in a production path which contains the production data. So here first we import certain modules which are required for calculating the drift. So first we have stats from SciPy, and then we have report and data drift preset from Evidently. So Evidently AI is the package which is typically used for calculating the drift detection between multiple columns. So we'll be making use of that. So here first you have to understand the reference data, which is the data set on which we have trained the model. So this is the location of the data set, housing_clean.parquet, and we take out all the feature columns from that specific data set, and this will become our df_ref. And then we have our df_prod where we have stored our production data. And next what we do is we generate the Evidently's HTML report. So first we initialize the report here, and then we compare the reference data with the production data, and that will be stored as HTML report here. And then finally we have to understand how each column is getting drifted. So that's why we perform two tests. One is KS test and other is PSI test. So what we do is we iterate through all the columns and we perform the test between our reference value and production value for that specific column, and we'll be calculating KS test and PSI test. Once we calculated that, then we'll be checking whether KS value is less than 0.05 or if PSI is greater than 0.01. If any of this is true, then we say the column has been drifted, and we'll be storing the results here. And we'll be also having the drifted columns as part of this list. So once you have identified the value of the drifted column and which column has drifted, what we do is we generate a report as shown here, and this contains drifted score, drifted columns, total features, drifted features, threshold what we have set initially, which is 0.15, and requires retraining. So based on the drift score, we'll check whether we want to retrain the model or not, and we'll say feature drift, which is stored here again, and then we have generated, which is the date and time on which we are executing. So once we have created our report here, we'll be storing it as part of a JSON file, which will be stored in this location. And then we'll be logging some information here. We'll be seeing whether if our report contains true or not here. If it is containing true, then we want to retrain the model, and we'll be returning report as part of our function call here. Once we have done with this specific task, then we have to check the model performance on prod. So in the previous video, during the hyperparameter tuning phase, we have found our best model with best parameters. Now what we do here is we load that specific model, and we'll be performing our model test on that specific production data. So what we do is we take the prod path, which is containing the production data, and then we take this RNG, which is the random number generator, and this is the area yprox. And what we do is basically we just perform the prediction with the help of that best model that we have generated in the previous video, and we'll be evaluating our model on this specific score, which is the mean absolute percentage error, and that will be part of our result here. Basically what we do is, since we have our best model, we want to test that model on the production data. So we do that with the help of this specific line, and then we calculate the mean absolute percentage error. So once done with that, then we have to get into our branch on drift. So this is where this Python function will be used by the branch Python operator from Airflow. So here it will take in the input from the compute drift report, and it will see whether the drift is high or not, which means that does it require retraining or not. If it is requiring retraining, then we have to return trigger retraining. Otherwise we want to trigger no retraining needed. So this is where we'll be branching whether we want to retrain the model or not. Next comes our DAG definition. So this is what we have been explaining for the last 5 to 6 videos. So this is how you have to define your DAG. So first comes our DAG ID. What is the description of the DAG? This is the default argument that we have set earlier. And then comes the scheduled interval, which is daily. We are setting it as daily. And the start time is 2024-11. Catch up is set as false, and tag is these different tags that we are setting for this DAG. So the first thing that we want to do is generate the production data, and that production data is stored in prod path, and that prod path is then sent to compute drift report, which will be performing the drift detection, where we'll be taking in the reference data set, production data set, and will be generating the drift report. And finally, we have our best model coming from hyperparameter tuning, and that model will be tested on the production data set. That will be our performance underscore check. Once we are done with this, then we'll be performing the branch Python operator, where we'll be calling this specific function branch on drift. So if you go and see this one, right, this is the function that will be called, and this specific function will take the input from the previous task. So this is the task that it has to pull the data from, okay, which contains the drift report. So this is where we understand whether we want to retrain the model or not. So here, if you want to retrain, then we have to trigger the model retraining DAG. So here we mention the tutorial 03 model retraining, which is basically this specific model or this specific script that we want to trigger. So this is what it represents. And here we also set wait for completion as true, meaning we will not be ending this specific DAG unless this specific execution is done, which is the model retraining is done. And then we have no action. If there is no retraining required, then we'll be going to the empty operator here. And then we have our done, which is again an empty operator with specific details here. And basically what we do is, first we run our drift report and we perform the performance check with the help of best model, and then we come to branching. This is where we decide whether to retrain or we have to move to no action. And then finally we go to done, which contains monitoring complete, and this is the trigger rule here. So this is the end of the script. So here what we understood is, first we will be executing our DAG, and then we'll be moving to branch, where we'll understand whether the drift is detected or not. If there is a significant drift, which is like 0.15, then we'll be moving to retrain, otherwise we'll be moving to no action. And finally we have our empty operator to mention the detail like monitoring complete. So with this, let me go and execute the script and let us see how it works in real time. So first let's go to the terminal here. So here first we have to switch to the virtual environment. So first I'll go to MLOps Airflow, then we'll switch to MLOps Airflow bin activate. Once this is done, we have to copy the commands from here, where we set the Airflow home and how to identify the DAG and executor. So we'll set this here. Once this is done, we also have to set another terminal for Airflow scheduler. So again, let me switch to MLOps Airflow here. So MLOps Airflow bin activate, paste the command here. Another terminal where we'll run the DAG. So switch to MLOps Airflow again. Source MLOps Airflow bin activate. Clear this. Now here, since we have set everything, let me start the Airflow web server, which will be running on port 8080, and then comes our Airflow scheduler here. Let me clear this. Then comes Airflow scheduler. So once we execute this, we can now go to the tutorial and copy paste this command from here. So this is, we are just testing the DAG, which is tutorial 6. Okay, so this will not trigger our retraining job. For that we have to manually enable our tutorial 3 in our platform, Airflow platform. Okay, so let me run this here. So we have everything up and running, and we also executed our script. So here the Airflow, okay, so here I think first we have to copy paste all these commands here, and then we have to run the DAG. So let me just copy this. Now let me run it. So yeah, now this will run. Let me go to the incognito mode localhost 8080. So the username password is admin. So let me run this. Here, if you notice, we have the specific DAG that is up and running, and this is in queued state. So since we are running the Airflow DAG as test environment, we won't be running this one. To run this, we have to unpause this one here. So it will move our from queued state to running state, and yeah, we have already seen that. Once this is executed, then it will be moving to success state. Then our tutorial 6, it will also move to the success state. So let me refresh this. So let me go to here, also ID, we can see here all the details. So if I just go up, so here we have branching trigger retraining. It means that there was drift detected, so it has went to trigger the retraining job. So now we have to wait for this specific tutorial to execute. So it executed, now it is in success state. Now our tutorial 6 will also move to the success state. If I go inside this one, we'll see the graph here. So this is the DAG that we have created. So first we generate the production data, and then we compute the drift report. And simultaneously we also run the model performance on the production data. So these two will have dependency on the specific one, and once we get the drift report, we make a decision based on the drift score. If it is greater than 0.15, then we go towards trigger retraining, otherwise we go towards no retraining needed, and then we have our monitoring complete. So here I guess we are completed. So we have completed no. So let me go to the DAGs again. So it is still in running state. So it has to move to the success state, then only it will complete. So if you see here, right, we are getting to the end of it. Yeah, now it has finished the tutorial 6 as well. It will move to the success state. If I just refresh this, yeah, so this has moved to the success state. So basically what we have done is, so first we went to model training. There we generated the production data, and then we compared this production data with the data on which we have trained the model. And then we computed the score for our drift. If it was greater than 0.15, then we went to tutorial 3, which is model training. There we trained the model again, and it has been stored somewhere. And once that is executed, then we moved back to model monitoring, and then finally here we came to this specific section, which is monitoring complete. So that's the whole flow that we have followed. So with this, we are at the end of the video because we have seen what we were intended to do. Okay, so let me go to the specific readme here, close this down. So we have checked drift detection, we have seen KS test and PSI, and we also done the auto retraining of our model. So with that, I'll be concluding this video. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next.